Visual, empty refrigerator, EBT card, Supreme Court building, people in food bank lines. Sound, dramatic music, cash register beeping empty. Imagine checking your bank account and finding nothing. No groceries for your kids this month. And you're not alone. 42 million Americans just experienced this nightmare. The Supreme Court, a government shutdown, state governors working through the night, and food bank lines stretching for miles. This is the story of how America's food safety net completely collapsed in November 2025, and why what happened next shocked everyone. If you've ever received SNAP benefits, know someone who has, or just care about what happens when our government breaks down, you need to watch this entire video. I'm your name. And this is the most important story you haven't heard about. Let's dive in. And visual, title card with dramatic reveal, subscribe button animation. Section 1. The crisis begins. Visual, calendar flipping. To November 2025, government buildings, shutdown graphics. Let me take you back to late October 2025. The United States government shuts down. Again. Now, we've seen government shutdowns before. National parks close. Some federal employees get furloughed. It's disruptive, yes, but usually life goes on for most Americans. But this time was different. Here's what most people don't understand about SNAP. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly known as food stamps. It serves 42 million Americans. That's 1 in 8 people in this country. It costs between $8.5 and $9 billion per month. And most recipients live below the poverty line. About $32,000 a year for a family of 4. The benefits? An individual can get up to nearly $300 per month. A family of 4 can receive up to nearly $1,000 per month. But many get less based on their income. Visual, statistics appearing on screen, families shopping with EBT cards. So when the government shut down, the Trump administration made an announcement that sent shockwaves through the country. No SNAP benefits for November. Just like that. 42 million people. $0. No groceries. The administration said Congress hadn't appropriated the funds, and because of the shutdown, they couldn't distribute the money. Visual, news headlines, empty grocery carts, worried families. But here's where it gets complicated, and where the legal battle begins. You see, there was money. About $4.6 billion sitting in an emergency reserve fund specifically designed for situations like this. But the Trump administration said that wasn't enough. They'd need to pull money from other programs to cover the full $9 billion monthly cost. And without congressional approval during the shutdown, they claimed they legally couldn't do it. The human impact was immediate. Food banks across the country reported seeing lines they'd never seen before. Not just longer, miles long. In Los Angeles, hundreds of cars waited for over a mile at a single food distribution site. Mothers started posting on social media, asking how to stretch their last $20. Single parents broke down in grocery stores, and the question everyone was asking, how did we get here? Visual, food bank footage, social media screenshots, respectful/anonymous, to emotional interviews. Section 2. The first legal battle. Visual, courthouse, judges, legal documents. The lawsuits came fast. 2 federal judges, looking at the same law, the same emergency fund, the same situation, came to the same conclusion. The Trump administration could not just skip November entirely. The judges said, "You have $4.6 billion in emergency funds. You must use it. That's literally what it's for." But then came the twist that changed everything. The administration said, "Okay, fine. We'll use the $4.6 billion. but that only covers about half of what we need. So they announced partial payments only. Section 3. The humanitarian crisis. Visual. Food banks, long lines, volunteers, empty shelves. While lawyers argued and judges deliberated, and something else was happening on the ground. A humanitarian crisis in the richest country on earth. Food banks reported overwhelming demand. Not just a little increase, a tsunami. Feeding America, the nationwide network of food banks, said demand surged by 30 to 40% in some areas. Why? Because when SNAP benefits disappear or get cut in half, people turn to the only other option, charity. But here's the problem. Visual. Food bank statistics, supply chain graphics. Food banks aren't designed to replace SNAP. They're designed to supplement it. One food bank director put it this way: you cannot crowdsource $8 billion. We run on donations, grants, and volunteers. We can provide emergency help. We cannot replace the entire federal food assistance program. But that's exactly what they were being asked to do. The scenes were heartbreaking. In Los Angeles, a drive-through food distribution where cars lined up for over a mile. Sheriff's deputies had to direct traffic. In Atlantic City, a special distribution for not just SNAP recipients, but also furloughed federal workers who suddenly couldn't afford groceries. In Newark, New Jersey, Jasmine Young Bay, a single mom in college with a 7-month-old and a 4-year-old, waited in line at a food pantry. She told reporters her SNAP balance showed $0. Not everybody has cash to pull out and say, "Okay, I'm going to go and get this, especially with the cost of food right now," she said. Later that day, she received her benefits. She was one of the lucky ones. Visual. Real stories, interviews, are emotional moments. Some states tried to help with their own money. Delaware. Governor Matt Meyer declared a state of emergency and used state funds to provide weekly relief payments to SNAP recipients. Philadelphia allocated $7 million of city money to help 500,000 residents who rely on SNAP, with an additional $6 million from philanthropy. Other states provided emergency funding to food banks. But even these efforts were drops in an ocean of need. Visual, state response map, funding graphics. And then there was the confusion. Some people got full benefits, some got partial, some got $16, some got nothing. Some states told people, "Expect your benefits this weekend." Then the Supreme Court paused everything. Then some benefits went through anyway, because they'd already been processed. Then others didn't. Social media was flooded with people asking, "Did anyone else get their benefits? I got way more than usual. Is this right? I got $16. What am I supposed to do with $16? Mine shows 0. Is anyone else's 0? Visual, social media screenshots, community discussions. The uncertainty was almost as cruel as the hunger, because when you're already living paycheck to paycheck, when you're already choosing between rent and food, when you're already stressed about keeping your family fed, this chaos was unbearable. Parents couldn't plan. They couldn't budget. They couldn't promise their kids that dinner would be okay. They just had to wait and hope and check their balance obsessively and try to figure out how to make $16 feed a family for a month. Conclusion. Visual. Return to host. Add key images from the crisis. So here's what you need to remember from this story. In November 2025, 42 million Americans nearly lost their food assistance because of a government shutdown. Federal judges ordered full benefits. The Trump administration fought back. States scrambled. Some people got help, others didn't. The Supreme Court stepped in with a temporary pause that created even more chaos. Eventually, the crisis passed. But the problems that caused it? Those are still here. My question for you: should SNAP benefits be protected from government shutdowns? Should judges be able to order emergency spending? Should states have more control over these programs? Let me know in the comments. I'm reading every single one, and if this breakdown helped you understand what happened, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives on policy and politics that actually matter. Give this video a thumbs up so more people see it. Share it with anyone who was affected or anyone who cares about these issues, and check out these related videos on government shutdowns, SNAP policy, and what happens when our political system breaks down. Thanks for watching. This has been Your Name. Remember, when policy fails, real people suffer.